Will Jacob Markstrom still be a Flame after the trade deadline? And how are the new guys holding up? Hey everyone, welcome into Burning Questions. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Postmedia Calgary Flames writers Wes Gilbertson and Danny Austin. And guys, another week, another trade rumor involving the Flames. This time, Jacob Markstrom back in the headlines. Reports that the Flames and Devils have been speaking about a potential Markstrom trade. Wes, we've talked a lot about the pending UFAs that could be dealt, but this is a guy with a term and a no movement clause. What do you make of the most recent rumors?
Yeah, Flames fans, I hope you're not sick of trade rumors yet, because they're not going anywhere between now and the March 8th deadline. What I make of it is, I guess, twofold. It shows that the Calgary Flames, if they are indeed entertaining offers on Jacob Markstrom, that they're serious about this retool, that they're serious about getting younger, and they're not going to put anyone off limits if there's a chance to add future assets or clear a spot, in this case for a young player in Dustin Wolf, that they're really excited about. And, on the other side of the coin, it signals to me that Jacob Markstrom is perhaps open to a move. There's been some reports that he indeed did waive his no trade or indicated his willingness to waive his no trade clause to go to the New Jersey Devils. And that's important too. This is a guy with full no trade protection. And so despite having 2 years left on his deal, despite sort of muscling his way into the Vezina Trophy conversation with how well he's played of late, if he is telling the Flames, if there's a chance for me to go to a contender, I would certainly entertain that. That makes Craig Conroy's job a little bit more flexible, in the sense that he can take calls on his number one netminder, and that might be another way to sort of fast forward the retool that we're talking about here in Calgary.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great position for Craig Conroy to be in. I mean, Jacob Markstrom just got named the first star of the week by the NHL. This guy is a goalie who would make any team pretty much better. There aren't many better goalies in the league, and there's a couple, would-be contenders who could certainly use his help. So if you're Craig Conroy, you're selling high, and you're asking. You want an opposing GM to come in with a grand slam offer, really, and I think that's a great position for the Flames to be in. I think ultimately, look, if they choose not to trade Jacob Markstrom, you're not going to be too upset about it. He's a guy who's going to win you hockey games, and the Flames have shown no indication that they are looking to lose hockey games, the way we traditionally think of a rebuild going over the next couple of years. So, this is a great position for Craig Conroy to be in. He is. If a deal is going to be made, you can bet that it is going to set the Flames up in a way the fans are going to be very excited about. I ultimately think that this is win-win in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that you see goaltenders of this caliber get moved at the deadline, but it would be quite a blockbuster if it does happen. Meanwhile, the sample size has grown a bit on some of the new faces. Danny, you've gotten to see more of the likes of Kuzmenko, Pachal, and others. What has stood out to you about those guys?
I mean, we just talked to Kuzmenko about, an hour ago, and honestly, I was cracking up the whole time. The guy's hilarious. You're going to hear a lot about him being sort of this positive force, and you can really feel that just from talking to him casually. I think that we've seen he still has that shot. I think that pairing him with a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau, who is going to feed him the puck, can only be a good thing. I don't know where his ceiling is, but I certainly think that he's a guy Flames fans are going to be excited to see. And it's nice to get to these 25 games to really get a good long look at him. But, I think with the exception of that Rangers game, where I don't think anyone other than probably Markstrom was particularly happy with their game in Calgary. It was the end of a long road trip. You'd been out east for a while. You hadn't really been home in a while because of the All-Star break. So that's not a game I think too much about, but I've really liked what I've seen from him to start. And Pachal, I'm sure Wes is going to talk about, but man, that guy's got some sandpaper to him. I like him too.
Yeah, I think pretty solid first impression for both Kuzmenko and Brayden. Pachal. Kuzmenko's shot, as Danny said, is a weapon. This is a guy who can fire the puck with the best of them. And what I like about what we've heard from him is that, I've got a couple goals, I've got some points, but I don't think I've shown what I'm capable of yet. I don't think I've shown really what I can do. And so to hear an offensive-minded player shrug off a couple of goals and say there's more there, I think that's really encouraging for the Flames. And then, I really like the way Brayden Pachal has clicked with Oliver Shillington on that third pairing. We always say coaches sort of send the messages with ice time, and the fact that they're willing, that they've been willing to play that pairing as much as they have, and on the road where, those are typically the situations where the third pairing goes out and the opposing coach goes, oh boy, okay, here we go. I'm sending out my stars. And so the fact Brayden Pachal's only been on the ice for 1 goal against so far, I think, is a really good indicator of what he is capable of in a very kind of no-frills defensive role. And so 4 games in, really early, but lots to like from both guys.
Finally, a scary sight on Monday when Jakob Pelletier, who had just recently returned from injury, left the game against the Rangers after playing just under a minute. Wes, what's the latest on the Flames' young forward?
Good news. I mean, Jacob Pelletier wasn't on the ice for practice today, but it's not a serious re-injury of his surgically repaired left shoulder. That was the big concern on that hit from Jacob Trouba. It's the same shoulder that Jacob Pelletier had surgery on in the fall. The reason he missed almost 4 full months to start this season. He's considered day-to-day, and so I would say a real sigh of relief for both the Flames and the 22-year-old forward.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see anyone get hurt, but particularly a young guy who has just gone through, the rehab from a serious injury for the first time. A guy who's sort of loved by his teammates. It just would have been heartbreaking. And you'd have to wonder what that does mentally to a guy to come all the way back and then, have to start from scratch on some level again, had it been a similar injury. So another just good news story. People will be looking forward to seeing Jacob Pelletier back. I think everyone around Calgary is really looking forward to see what a run of games can do, because expectations were so high for him coming into this year. So there's relief. We're all happy to see him. Well, we haven't seen him, but we will be happy to see him return soon.
Yeah, definitely worst case scenario avoided for Pelletier and the Flames. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Wes Gilbertson and Danny Austin, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time on Burning Questions.